Hey, how's it going? My name is Gabby. Welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be doing another big spooky book haul. No, not all of these books are spooky, but because it's spooky season, everything is naturally spookier. But this is a pretty good sized book haul. I have so many books that I've received and that I've purchased within the last couple of, weeks or like a month or so here. But before we do jump into the video, I wanted to say a huge thank you to today's sponsor, which is HelloFresh. If you have a really packed schedule this fall, HelloFresh has your meals covered with a weekly selection of over 30 recipes and over 70 convenience items delivered right to your door. HelloFresh works with your schedule. You can easily change your delivery day, you can change how many meals that you're wanting per week, and you can even change your address with just a few taps on the HelloFresh app. HelloFresh also offers veggie, fit and wholesome, and pescatarian meals so that it makes it easy to stick to your food goals. It's also really nice because HelloFresh actually cuts down on your food waste by 25% since you're not gonna have to go grocery shopping, because they will send you literally every single ingredient that you need, and it's nice because you'll have nothing left over at the end, so you end up wasting a lot less food compared to when you do a grocery run and then you have to get like a big batch of something to make something small and then you end up not using the rest of it. My favorite aspect of HelloFresh is that they send you these really easy step-by-step food cards that just show you how to make something. I feel like I'm always discovering new dishes I've never even heard of or never even thought to try because of HelloFresh, so they make cooking so much fun. Last night, me and my sister ended up making these griddled onion cheeseburgers, and these were some of the best burgers that I've ever had. I know I say time and time again when I work with HelloFresh that they have some of the best burgers that I've ever had, but it's for a reason because it's so true. Like, the buns are ridiculously soft and they're so crispy, and the caramelized onions and even the potato wedges for like the french fries, like they're all so freaking good. Like, I can never get over how good their burgers are. Like, I will be a burger stan of HelloFresh for life. I'm also really looking forward to trying out this spicy Peruvian chicken recipe. It looks absolutely delicious. So yeah, go to HelloFresh.com and use my code gabbyreads65 for 65% off your order and free shipping. Once again, that's HelloFresh.com. Use my code gabbyreads65 to get 65% off your order and free shipping. What a steal. Thank you so much once again to HelloFresh for sponsoring today's video, and now let's get into the book haul. All right, on to the books. Also, if you're seeing this snake tattoo during this video, it's real. No, I'm just kidding. It's not real. I wish it was. It's a fake. But isn't it so cute? It's just perfect for spooky season, Alright, so the first books that I wanted to show you came from Book of the Month. These were over the last 2 months, I think. So we have 2 picks from September. We have Killers of a Certain Age and we have The Fortunes of Jaded Women. Both of these are books that I am still so excited to get to. I haven't had the chance to get to these yet, but Killers of a Certain Age especially has me so intrigued. This one is a mystery thriller that follows these women who are in their 60s. Yeah, it says they've spent their lives as the deadliest assassins in an international organization, but now they're 60 years old. 4 female friends can't just retire. It's kill or be killed in this action-packed thriller. It just sounds like it's gonna be so cute and so fun. I can't wait to read this one. And then The Fortunes of Jaded Women also just sounds like it's gonna be a really beautiful and like powerful read. I don't know why it's giving me Little Fires Everywhere vibes, because it says it takes place in Orange County and it follows these sisters who are cursed. And on the bottom too, it says it shows how Vietnamese women emerge victorious even if the world is against them. I do have the audiobook from Libro for this one too, so I'm hoping to read this one before the end of the year. And then for the month of October, Book of the Month sent The Family Game and Sign Here, which honestly, these are 2 of my most anticipated books. I never even heard of Sign Here before it was a Book of the Month selection, but this shit sounds incredible. I actually have my bookmark in it because I'm planning on starting this one next, like immediately. This one's really interesting because we're following this character who works in hell. Like, I'm sorry, what? And it's really interesting because he's on the verge of getting a big promotion if he can get one more member of a wealthy Harrison family member to sell their soul. It sounds freaking incredible. Me and my sister, we did a try a chapter video recently, and my sister read the first chapter of this one and she just immediately made me want to pick this up like now. And so I plan to read this one next up, but it just sounds really cool. She said it kind of reminded her of The Good Place, like that TV show. And then also The Family Game by Katherine Stedman. This one is a thriller that I am highly anticipating. It just sounds like it's gonna be the most fun. Like, this premise really gives me Ready or Not vibes because it's about this woman who like marries into a rich family, I think, and then they're playing a game. It just says a rich eccentric family, a time-honored tradition, a lethal game of survival. One woman is about to find out if she has what it takes to join her husband's family. Like, does it not sound like Ready or Not? Like, this is the most Ready or Not vibes I've ever heard. And also this cover is everything. Like the neon glow of this pink against this like purple blue. Obsessed. Like, I love this cover so much. And then St. Martin's Press sent me 2 romance books. They actually sent me a finished copy of Mistakes Were Made, which this is so exciting because I do have an ARC copy still that I haven't read yet. Like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling so behind. But how cool of them to send me a finished copy. This one is a really highly anticipated book of mine. It's a female-female romance. But the great thing is that it follows this girl who's in college, right? And then on Parents' Weekend, the parents all come to visit the college students, and she accidentally starts to fall for her best friend's mom. Like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. I love the like taboo, kind of like forbidden type of age gap thing happening here. Like, I am here, sign me up. It sounds so cute. And then they also sent Built to Last by Erin Hahn, and this one sounds so freaking cute. It says right here on the front cover, it says, sparks and sawdust fly in this romance about homemakers and love do-overs. I don't really know what to expect of this one, to be honest, but I thought the cover is adorable. The premise is adorable. I also think, too, it's interesting because the protagonist, the girl in this book, it says she's a former child star. She can't forget the widely documented meltdown and huge public breakup with her former co-star. I don't know, I feel like this one just sounds really interesting and like something I might enjoy, so hopefully I do. All right, next up, Berkeley Romance sent me 4 upcoming books. They sent me A Cosmic Kind of Love by Samantha Young, which, holy shit, if this is not one of my most anticipated romances of the year just because of the premise alone. And I mean, look at this cover. It's all about space. It's so cute, and I love that it has cosmic in the title, and like they're sitting on little planets. Like, are you kidding me? So this one's really interesting because we're following this girl who is a party planner. She's like a wedding project planner, right? And then he is a freaking astronaut that's in space with NASA, and it's about how she starts sending all of these messages to like a deactivated NASA email or whatever, and he's receiving all of them, and they have this like communication with each other when he's out in space and she's in the real world. And does that not sound so freaking cute? Like, this has potential. This has so much potential. I'm just so excited to read this one. I feel like this might be one of my most anticipated romance books of the year. Okay, I'm just And then they also sent Ricochet, which this one is actually, I believe it's the sequel to Addicted to You. I think this is part of, yeah, it's an Addicted novel. And this one says it's friends to lovers. This is a series that I don't know if it's gonna be my thing or not, but when they were offering, you know, these books on the list, I was like, you know, maybe. Like, I don't know if it'll be my thing or not, but I felt like I should give it a shot anyways. So hopefully I do enjoy the first book so that I can read the second book. I mean, if not, I'll just, you know, pass it on to a friend that will. And then I also got a copy of Do You Take This Man by Denise Williams. This is an author that I feel like I've been meaning to read for such a long time. Like, I have not yet read one of her romance books, but I've heard pretty great things about all of her romance books. And this one sounds especially interesting to me because it involves a wedding. I don't know why, I just love romances that kind of involve weddings in some way. I don't even know why, because I'm not even the biggest fan of weddings myself in real life, but for some reason reading about them is just really fun for me. And it says, after butting heads, an event planner and a wedding officiant begin an enemies with benefits arrangement as wedding bells chime around them. I'm sorry, what? Enemies with benefits? Like, I don't even know what that means, but I'm here. Also, I feel like that's such a popular like job for a protagonist to have lately, is being like a wedding or event planner. Like, that seems like a really popular job in romance books, and I don't know anybody that has that job in real life. Anyways, the next book that they sent was Where We End and Begin, and this is from the same author as The Sweetest Remedy and Ties That Tether, I'm pretty sure. I've read a few books from this author so far, and once again, you guessed it, this book has a wedding too. It says, star-crossed lovers get a second chance at romance when they're reunited at a wedding. It also follows a character who works in Seattle, so like, you know, that's pretty cool. Once again, it's just something about books, like romance books that take place around weddings. Like, I don't know why, it just makes it more fun for me to read. It doesn't make any sense, I know, but I love it. Also, look at how gorgeous this spine is. Like, can we just take a second, you know? Like, look at that navy blue up against that, like, the orange of the cover. Like, oh my god, it's stunning, it's beautiful. All right, next up, Penguin Random House sent me so many things, like so many books recently. I'm so grateful. Well, the first one they sent, this one's a little bit awkward because it's The Family Game by Katherine Stedman, and I totally spammed based on the fact that I had requested this from Penguin Random House, and then it was a book of the month selection, so I picked it from my book of the month selection, and I totally forgot about the fact that I had already requested this from Penguin Random House. So this is exciting, this is amazing. I'm probably going to be passing this one on to a friend because I have 2 copies, and I don't think that I need 2 copies, but amazing of them. And then they also sent Lucy by the Sea, which this is one that I'm really excited about. I've been hearing some really good things about this one, and this one, from what I understand, it's more of a like literary fiction contemporary kind of story, but it takes place during COVID, which I know some of us are like, yikes still, right? But I'm also like, I don't know, I'm open to the idea of reading books that take place during the pandemic. I'm just very particular about how I like to read about it, but this one sounds interesting because it says it's about a divorced couple who are stuck together during lockdown. I've just heard from some friends already that are really enjoying it, that it's a very moving book and that it's just written very well. So I am really excited to read this one. I think I am going to plan to read this in November or December. I'm putting the audiobook on hold at my library, and I don't know, I'm really looking forward to it. It's not that long either. It's only like 290-ish pages, so really looking forward to this one. And then they also did send Carrie, Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is, you know, the latest novel from Taylor Jenkins Reid, and this book is about a tennis player who is coming out of retirement to try and beat her record because somebody else has beaten her record, and she's like, nah bitch, and she's gonna come out of retirement just to try and beat her tennis record. And you kind of get this woman's, you know, whole life story in a way. It's a really character-driven story, and it's a lot of tennis. Like, there's a lot of tennis in this book. But I read this one in September, and I actually enjoyed it for the most part. So really, you know, really surprised me because I didn't think that I could give a shit. That's basically a book about tennis. Like, it just doesn't sound like something that I would seek out to read. They also sent me Jackal, which, like, oh my god, this is by Aaron E. Adams, and this is one of my most anticipated thriller and horror books of the year, and this is actually going to be my booktube pick for the month of November. So, like, thank you so much to Random House for sending me a copy of this. I literally can't wait. On the inside flap here, it just says, a young black girl goes missing in the woods outside her white Rust Belt town. She's not the first, and she may not be the last. I don't know what that means, but I need to know, and I'm so excited. I love this cover too. Is this not one of the most beautiful covers you've ever seen? Like, this really appeals to my space loving heart because, like, look at her face. There's like stars, there's like constellations like on the side of her face. Like, I'm obsessed. I love that. And then Penguin Random House also sent Daphne by Josh Mallerman, which I did end up reading earlier this month, and this is one of my favorite horror books of the year. One of my favorite horror books from Josh Mallerman. Really surprised me with this one because for a while there I wasn't too sure. Like, I actually almost DNF'd this one at the beginning. This one is basically about this, you know, we follow this young girls basketball team, and they talk about this woman named Daphne who kind of like haunts the girls basketball team, specifically because there was this girl named Daphne who went to their school a long time ago, and she was bullied, and she was like 7 feet tall, and now she like haunts the basketball girls in the school. It's just so interesting. And there's also a lot of talk about anxiety in this book and a lot of anxiety representation with our protagonist Kit. It's a really wild and really interesting time, and I absolutely loved it. 10 out of 10, recommend. And then the last book that Penguin Random House sent me is When in Rome. This one is a romance novel that involves like baking and stuff. It says, opposites certainly attract for a stranded pop star and a small town baker. Bitch, a stranded pop star. What? Ugh, on the bottom too, it says, Amelia can't resist falling for the cozy town and her grumpy tour guide. So we definitely have the grumpy love interest, I'm assuming, in this one. Just sounds like it's gonna be hella cute, does it not? Like, that sounds so cute. Next up is that HTP Books sent me a copy of Just the Nicest Couple, which this is probably one of my most anticipated thrillers that's coming out next year. It actually comes out January 10th. This one is one of my most anticipated because it's the same author as Local Woman Missing, but also I loved Local Woman Missing. It was a 5-star thriller for me, one of my favorites that I read, but also this author's also published one of my like least favorite thrillers that I've ever read. So I was very like hesitant and nervous about this one, but this one says it follows 2 couples, 2 close friends, 1 missing spouse. And from what I understand, we kind of follow from the perspective of the husband in one of the couples and then the wife in the other couple, and I don't know how it's gonna connect. We actually, when me and my sister did that try a chapter, she actually read read the first chapter of this and it was her favorite first chapter, like out of all the books that we read. So I am just so intrigued by this now. Like I'm very excited to read it. I don't know if I want to like save this one. Like I don't know if I want to read this one immediately, like right now, or if I want to save it for like either later this year or maybe my first read of next year. Like I don't know, I'm so undecided. And then next up, Vintage Books sent me a copy of Sizzle Reel, and this one is a super advanced copy. This one goes on sale in April next year, April 18th. Like what the heck, that is so far in the future. This is one that I am so excited about because, okay, first of all, look at how cute this cover is, right? Like look at, she's holding a little film camera and then there's like two other girls over here. I'm so excited because the premise of this book, it follows an aspiring cinematographer who's coming out as bisexual at the age of 24, and then it also follows, I think her love interest is a 28-year-old A-list actress who takes an interest in her cinematography. Like, oh my god. Oh! Like, okay, first of all, I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm a huge movie lover. Like, I'm a film lover, you know? Like, I have a film podcast with my sister called Film Queens. Like, I am probably just as much of a film lover as I am a book lover. So, hearing that this is a romance between a cinematographer and an A-list actress, and they're both girls, like, bitch, sign me up. Oh my god, it sounds so freaking cute. I cannot wait to read this. I hope I'm not like overhyping it in my head, but like I seriously feel like this could be a new favorite, so I'm really excited. And then, oh my gosh, the lovely, the kind, the amazing Eric LaRocca sent me a copy of his latest book, They Were Here Before Us. This one is a novella in pieces, and once again, it's tiny, it's small, there's drawings in here. I'm so excited to read this. I think I am actually gonna try to read this during Monster Mash Week and Ween, because it's just so small and it feels like it would be the perfect thing to try and read during a readathon. I have absolutely no idea what it's about and I don't even want to know the slightest thing. I mean, the way it says they were here before us, I can only imagine it's some kind of like, I don't know, either weird alien type of shit or like, I don't even know. But on the back here, it says the only thing more brutal than nature is love. I'm like, okay, Eric, like what? I will literally read anything this author writes though, because I absolutely love his writing style. Like his writing is my favorite, so I will read it. All right, and then next up I had another author. This is the author duo of Amber and Danielle Brown. They sent me a copy of their book Someone Had to Do It, and this one is a thriller that's coming out December 27th, so it's a little ways away but not too much of a ways away. But this one's a thriller that just sounds really interesting. I'm also kind of, I don't know, I really dig this book cover. I think it's really beautiful and really like sleek. This one, we're following this woman named Brandy who's living the dream as an intern at prestigious New York fashion house. Okay, so see, this is one of the reasons why I'm hella intrigued by this book, because it takes place in New York, which, you know, if you know anything about my book taste, I'm obsessed with New York, and any book that takes place in New York just gets bumped up on that TBR, you know what I'm saying? So it seems like what happens in this book is that she's at this glamorous party and event when she overhears something that she shouldn't have, and it involves the daughter of like the company that she works for, like the daughter. It seems like there's a lot of like family drama and then thrilling things happening in this one. I don't know, I'm really excited to check this one out. All right, and then next up, Wednesday Books actually sent The Dead and the Dark by Courtney Gold. But this one's a young adult mystery thriller kind of book that I've just been hearing a lot of really great things about, and so when they offered it to me, I was like, I mean, why not? This one, it also takes place in this town called Snakebite, Oregon, which I just think sounds so unique. It says teenagers are disappearing, some are turning up dead, the weather isn't normal, all fingers point to TV's most popular ghost hunters who have just come to town. And it's so great. It's following these characters who are like investigating this haunting in this small town. Like, I don't know, it sounds so cool and so unique, so I'm really excited to check this one out. And then the next stack of books that I have were all books that were sent to me by lovely, kind human beings from my Amazon wishlist. Most of these did come from my Amazon wishlist, and I just wanted to say thank you so much. Like, you guys are the real ones. I appreciate you so much, because getting unexpected book mail like this just in the mail randomly makes my whole day. Like, you don't even understand. I get so excited. The first book was sent by Diana, and she sent We Spread by Ian Reid, which, hello, if you haven't seen my most recent vlog yet, you might not know, but this is probably my favorite book that I've read this year. Like, this book absolutely broke me in ways that I was not prepared for, because this is a kind of like, it's a genre defying book. I mean, it's kind of like a little bit horror, a little bit mystery thriller, but it's really It feels almost like literary fiction in a way, with just a little bit of like spooky, creepy atmosphere. It's just so powerful. I can't even articulate my thoughts right now on how much I love this book. So thank you so much, Diana, to sending me a copy of this. I annotated the heck out of this book. I also wanted to say a huge thank you to my friend Brittany. She sent me a copy of Wrong Place, Wrong Time, and this was another book that I also read during that reading vlog. This one is like a mystery thriller book that also kind of involves this like time loop or like time travel type of situation, where we have this mom who she witnesses her 17-year-old son like murdering this stranger outside of their bedroom window, and she's like, what the heck? And then the next day she wakes up the day before the murder, and then the day after that she wakes up another day before that, and it's like she keeps waking up more days in the past, and it's because she thinks that she might be able to prevent this murder from happening and like ruining her son's life potentially. And then from Carrie, I was sent Sweat and Soap. This one is a manga. This is the first volume, and this is one that she actually reached out and asked if she could send me this book, and so I was like, I mean, sure, like it sounds interesting. I've actually been seeing this manga around quite a bit, just at like Barnes and Noble, and like I've seen some friends talking about it. It's so like what this book is about is just so strange to me, but I'm also just very intrigued about it because she's very ashamed of her like body odor, I guess is what this book is about. And then it's about this guy who's like the CEO of this like I don't know, toiletry maker company. He's like, he has to do with scent. Like scent is something involved with his job. And he wonders what that smell is on her. Like he really likes the way that she smells. And then it's like a romance, I think, question mark. I don't really know. I think this will be such an interesting, fun time to read. So like, I'm excited to give this one a shot. Thank you so much, Carrie. Oh my gosh. And then the lovely Stephanie sent me Wonderland by Jennifer Hillier, which I'm so excited to have this book in my possession because, you know, Jennifer Hillier is one of my favorite thriller authors. I've read most of her books now. I only have a few left of her backlist to get to, and Wonderland is one of them. And I've heard really great things about Wonderland. Like this is one of the ones that gets highly recommended anytime I talk about Jennifer Hillier. This one, like most of Jennifer Hillier's books, takes place in the Pacific Northwest, which is cool because that's where I'm at. Yeah, I don't even want to read too much of this description because I don't want it to give away too much for me, but I'm pretty sure this all takes place in this, there's like a Wonderland place that's like clown museums and like carnival vibes in this one. You know, like that's all I've heard about it, is that this one has peak vibes because it involves some kind of creepy ass carnival, and I love that. Like I love that so much. And then the lovely Chris ended up sending me 2 books. One of them was on my Amazon wish list. This one is The Hiding Place by CJ Tudor, and this is one that I've been so excited to read. This is, I think, the only CJ Tudor book that I haven't read this far. This one has one of my favorite tropes in like thriller and horror books, when a character has to come back to their small town that they left because of like some kind of reasons, like there was reasons why they left and now they have to come back. And it's saying like there was a horrifying thing when his sister went missing, I guess, but then at the end of this it says the worst moment of his life wasn't the day his sister went missing, it was the day she came back. So I'm like, okay, what the fuck is going on with The Hiding Place? Like, I need to read this now. Like, why haven't I read this yet? And then Chris also ended up sending The Animals in That Country, and this is one that was not on my wish list. I actually have no idea what this book is even about. Like, I've never even heard of this, but it sounds really interesting. Oh my gosh, it says a strange pandemic begins sweeping the country, and the symptom is that its victims begin to understand the language of animals. What? Many infected people lose their minds, including Jean's son, Lee. Gosh, what an interesting apocalypse kind of story. It's the animal apocalypse. Okay, wow. I have never even heard of this. I don't think I've ever heard anybody mention this, but it sounds so cool. So thank you so much, Chris. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to read this. And then the last books that I was sent this month, I was sent 3 books by someone that just signed it as L, and like I could not read the name on this for the life of me. So if you did send me this, please reach out to me so that I can thank you personally. But they sent 3 books from the UK. Just said in this note, they said, these are all YA books, but I really liked them and they're all fun horror thriller books. They aren't available yet in the US, so fingers crossed that you don't already own them. Well, thank you so much. The one I have heard of, Mina and the Undead. This is one that I've heard of, and I've always been really intrigued by this, but I don't actually own a copy, so this is actually really cool. Like the black around the border of like the entire book, I just think it looks so cool. And this is actually one that I did hear about. This one takes place in New Orleans Fang Fest in 1995. So this one sounds really cool. And then they also sent Dead Lucky, and It's Behind You, which these are also both young adult books. I haven't heard of these two, I don't think. This one says, lucky to be rich, lucky to be famous, lucky to be alive. They are the influencers, the lucky ones. Ooh, what the heck? It says a masked figure walks into their apartment and murders him on camera. Oh my gosh, that's always been like one of my biggest like, like what if somebody's live streaming and then they get murdered? And then It's Behind You. I've never heard of this one either, but it says, welcome to It's Behind You, the reality TV game show that will scare you to death. 5 contestants must spend the night in the dark and dangerous Umber Gorge caves haunted by a ghost called the Puckered Maiden. Whoever lasts until the morning wins $10,000. Oh my gosh, what the heck? That sounds really cool. I love when this happens, when I just receive books that I've never even heard of that actually sound really interesting. So thank you so much to Elle for sending me these. I appreciate it. All right, and then the last 5 books in this haul are all books that I bought for myself recently. I bought All Roads Lead Here by Mariana Zapata. I actually read this one in the month of September, and this was mostly influenced by my friend Olivia from Olivia Reads a Latte, because she's always talking about this book, and I had asked, you know, because I have only loved one book from Mariana Zapata, and that was The Wall of Winnipeg and Me, and I've read 3 other books from her that were just fine for me. So I was asking, like, which of her books do you think that I would love? And a lot of people said All Roads Lead Here would be the one that they would recommend, and you know, y'all were right, y'all came through. This one was so freaking good, and this book is hella long. It's nearly 600 pages, and it's one of the slowest burn romance books to ever exist, but I really enjoyed it. And then I did buy 2 mangas from my Barnes & Noble recently. I bought Blood on the Tracks Volume 1 and then Anti-Romance Volume 1. And this is one, Anti-Romance, that I've never heard anybody mention this book before. I think this one actually just published. Like, this one just came out in September, I think. But like, is this not the most beautiful cover? Like, I was immediately drawn to this cover. Like, I don't know why. I love the white border. I love like the 2 boys, and then the anti-romance in pink kind of cursive, like, just really pops for me. I'm really excited though, because I guess this is like a friends, I think it's friends to lovers. They've been friends since childhood, and they've been living together for 6 years now. And so it's like roommates to lovers as well. And it's 2 boys in this one, so it's like a male-male romance. And I think this is going to be volume 1 in a series, so it is like a new series, but it's also cool because there's a lot of like glossy photos in the back of this one that are just like really beautiful and like so adorable. That's like one of my favorite things now to discover in a manga copy, when they have like glossy colored photos in the back. Like, it just makes me even more excited about it. So yeah, I'm really excited to read this one. I'm gonna read this one like as soon as humanly possible, because I don't think I can resist. And then Blood on the Tracks volume 1. This is a series that I keep hearing about time and time again, mostly from my friend Katie, who recently just read these. And I've just heard that this series is really, you know, intense, and it has a lot of Bates Motel vibes because it follows like a mother and son relationship throughout this series. And this is a series that I've been meaning to read for quite some time now. So when I saw it at Barnes & Noble, I was like, all right, let's just do it, you know? I think I am going to be reading this one during Monster Mash Weekend Ween, because it just seems like it would be the perfect fit, you know? And one of our challenges is to read kind of like a horror manga. So this would be perfect. And then the last 2 books that I bought for myself are books that I bought for my reading your horror recommendations video. So this is kind of going to be a sneak peek at what I'm reading for the next round of reading your horror recommendations. So the first book that I bought is Hex. This one is a horror novel that takes place in this small town where this witch woman haunts the town, basically. And to hear my thoughts, you'll have to tune in to my next round of reading your horror recommendations. And then I also bought The Exorcist House by Nick Roberts, which this is another book that I got highly recommended. So this is another book that I'm going to be reading for the next round of reading your horror recommendations. And this one, it takes place in the summer of 1994. We follow this guy who's a psychologist named Daniel, who buys this farmhouse in the middle of nowhere in West Virginia. And then, shockingly, the house is a little, like something's going on in the house, because the house used to be owned by this guy who was an exorcist, or like he did exorcisms in the house. So yeah, if you would like to hear my thoughts on both of these books, then definitely make sure you tune in for my next video of reading your horror recommendations. It's very exciting. It's coming up soon. All right, so those are all of the books in this book haul. I know it was excessive. I know it was so much. Thank you so much to all of the amazing, kind publishers who send me books, and to, of course, to all of you who have sent me something off my Amazon wish list. Like, I can't emphasize enough how much I appreciate it, how much it makes my day every time. Thank you so much. I don't deserve you. Let me know what you've been reading, what you've been up to, what was the most recent book that you've hauled that you're excited about. Let me know all of all the deets in the comments. Thank you so much for watching as always, and I'll see you very soon with another video.